How is your Cannes week going? We're only halfway through, it's only Wednesday, but how's it been so far?
It's been amazing. Look, it's my first one, so I'm
Your
really
first?
yeah. So I've still been getting the lay of the land up and down the Croisette, but yeah, had a really good week. I've really enjoyed being in amongst it and having the conversations. It's real energy about the place. So.
How has it met or not met your expectations?
I didn't really know what to expect. I've heard stories that it's a long, hot, tiring but fun week, and so I guess it's met those expectations. But I think everyone's much more relaxed than behind a computer. So really getting a feel for what's happening in the market has been really valuable.
And talking about that, getting a feel, what sort of things have you been hearing and picking up this week in terms of themes? Any surprises? Any action points you're going to be taking back with you?
I mean, it's interesting. I think we work primarily in retail media, so that's sort of been the focus of my conversations. And one of the main themes I've been hearing and we've been discussing at roundtables is, the move from retail media to commerce media, so a rebranding. Before that it was shopper marketing, so it's just going through the next evolution. No surprises that AI is moving up the stack and therefore taking on a new role. But yeah, those are probably two main themes, I think.
What is the thinking, just to give people a sense of why? I quite like the term retail media. It kind of says what it does on the tin, right?
I know.
So why commercial?
Yeah, I
No.
think retail media might be too restrictive.
Oh, right.
And in actual fact, you've got financial institutions, you've got travel, you've got all of these areas outside of converting in a retail format that have media, as we've seen here, in all sorts of forms. So I think it does a better job at potentially giving it a broader definition, which it is. But retail media, I think, is more or less a subset of that and still relevant.
And just finally, in your sort of area of the marketing world, what is the most important focus for the next 12 months?
We've been, in our conversations, it's been really sort of collaborative in terms of, rather than pitching or telling, asking or understanding how a company is beginning to think about changing their stack or updating and innovating. And one of the main things we've been talking about is more cohesion within retail groups, less fragmentation between teams. And I think there needs to be a little bit more of a discussion internally between, merchandising teams, advertising teams, on-site teams, off-site teams, which has traditionally been, I own this, you own that. And that forces things to move really slowly. So I think from our perspective, we're trying to push innovation at an incremental level without having to rip and replace, without having to do the whole big takeover or redraft or replan. I think just like small little, what can we optimize today? What technology is available to optimize at a modular level?
And that must be, maybe I'm wrong, but those silos, people are used to working in their separate advertising, merchandising,
I know.
Accounts, all the different departments of any business, whether it's retail or not. How do you convince them to not be afraid and to not be, and who goes in charge of that? Or does it require a new structure to be in place?
We don't necessarily want to be pushing, especially with a lot of these bigger retailers, you can't push for a restructure. I think just more collaboration, and our biggest strength is to take instances where it's worked and not be afraid to ask the pointed questions, not to be too recessive, but sort of push a little bit and say, look, we really think that when it's done well in example A or example B, there's great benefit, and also minimizing the risk on the retail side. So making it as risk-free as possible is inevitably the key to doing anything. So, yeah.